This video is brought to you by Crypto. If you're watching this video, you must have already heard a lot about blockchain, which forms the backbone of cryptocurrencies that are wildly popular today. But what is a blockchain? How does it all work? What issues do they solve? And how can they be used? Like the name suggests, a blockchain is a chain of blocks that contain some information. This method was originally described in 1991 by a group of researchers and was originally intended to timestamp digital documents so that it's not possible to backdate them or to tamper with them. However, it was not used much until it was adapted by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2009 to create the digital cryptocurrency Bitcoin. If you are into crypto, you must have definitely heard about Satoshi Nakamoto, who was the father of cryptocurrencies and used an alias name. Till date, no one knows who Satoshi really was. Coming back to the topic, a blockchain is a distributed ledger that is completely open to anyone. They have an interesting property. Once some data has been recorded inside a blockchain, it becomes very difficult to change it. So, how does that work? Well, let's zoom in and look at a block. Each block contains some data, the hash of the block, and the hash of the previous block. The data that is stored inside a block depends on the type of blockchain. For example, the Bitcoin blockchain stores the details about a transaction in here, such as the sender, the receiver, and the amount of coins. A block also has a hash. You can compare a hash to a fingerprint. It identifies a block and all of its contents, and it's always unique, just like a fingerprint. Once a block is created, its hash gets calculated. Changing something inside the block will cause the hash to change. So, in other words, hashes are very useful when you want to detect any changes to blocks. Even the smallest changes can be detected this way. If the fingerprint of a block changes, it no longer remains the same block. The third element inside each block is the hash of the previous block. This effectively creates a chain of blocks, and it's this technique that makes a blockchain so secure. Here, we have created a chain of 3 blocks. As you can see, each block has a hash and the hash of the previous block. So block number 3 points to block number 2 and number 2 points to number 1. Now, the first block is a bit special. It cannot point to previous blocks because it's the first one. The first block is also known as the Genesis block. Now let's say that you tamper with the second block. This causes the hash of the block to change as well. In turn, that will make block 3 and all following blocks invalid because they no longer store a valid hash of the previous block. So changing a single block will make all the following blocks invalid. But using hashes is not enough to prevent tampering. Computers these days are very fast and can calculate hundreds of thousands of hashes per second. You could effectively tamper with a block and recalculate all the hashes of other blocks to make your blockchain valid again. So to mitigate this, blockchains have something called proof of work. It's a mechanism that slows down the creation of new blocks. In case of bitcoins, it takes about 10 minutes to calculate the required proof of work and add a new block to the chain. This mechanism makes it very hard to tamper with the blocks because if you tamper with one block, you need to recalculate the proof of work for all the following blocks. So, the security of a blockchain comes from its creative use of hashing and the proof of work mechanism. But there's one more way that blockchains secure themselves, and that's by being distributed. Instead of using a central authority to manage the chain, blockchains use a peer-to-peer network and anyone is allowed to join. This distribution of authority to the community is what drove many towards blockchain and DeFi, which we will learn about later in another video. When someone joins this network, he gets the full copy of the blockchain. The node can use this to verify that everything is still in order. Now, let's see what happens when someone creates a new block. That new block is sent to everyone on the network. Each node then verifies the block to make sure that it hasn't been tampered with. If everything checks out, each node adds this block to their own blockchain. All the nodes in this network create consensus. They agree about what blocks are valid and which aren't. Blocks that are tampered with will be rejected by all other nodes in the network. So, to successfully tamper with a blockchain, you will need to tamper with all blocks on the chain, redo the proof of work for each block, and take control of more than 50% of the peer-to-peer network. Only then will your tampered block become accepted by everyone else. This is almost impossible to do. Pretty awesome, right? In short, blockchain helps out and incentivizes honest community members and protects their interest while keeping a strict eye on adversaries and hackers. Blockchains are also constantly evolving. One of the more recent developments is the creation of smart contracts. These contracts are simple programs that are stored on the blockchain and can be used to automatically exchange coins based on certain conditions. More on smart contracts in a later video. The creation of blockchain technology piqued a lot of people's interests. Soon others realized that the technology could be used for other things like storing medical records, creating a digital notary, or even collecting taxes. So, now you know what a blockchain is, how it works on basic level, and what problems it solves. Want to learn more about crypto technology? Check out our channel, Crypto. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we hope this video cleared your doubts.